Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I am doing this project that I've been kind of working on. Well, not working on too much, but like thinking about for a while now. Assassin's Creed, man. I've been playing these games since 2007. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through and I wanted to rate them, my least favorite to my favorite one. And talk a little bit about each game. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I'm a Ubisoft fanboy. Not a PlayStation fanboy, not an Xbox fanboy. I'm a Ubisoft fanboy. And it basically boils down to the Assassin's Creed franchise. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so my least favorite Assassin's Creed game out of the 12 mainline games is Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 3 is by far my least favorite game in the series. It marked the end of Desmond's journey with the series, and I had just buried my son named Desmond. So it ultimately felt like I was losing my boy for a second time. But enough of that. AC3 was a boring experience for me. It didn't grab me like the previous games had done. It did feel different, more refined, new gameplay mechanics, visual effects. But for some reason, I just didn't care for that time period very much. And the naval combat was so annoying, I literally hated it. Connor was a very boring protagonist. And having to play as Hathan Kenway for a good chunk of that game, it just wasn't good for me. I really dreaded finishing it, and that leads me right into the next game above this one. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I know what you're thinking. I get it. I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh my gosh, how could you not like Assassin's Creed Black Flag? Because there was more naval combat. So, all right, let me just get into this. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Now, Edward Kenway was a much better protagonist this time around, and probably the only reason I was able to complete it at all. At this point, I really hated the naval combat even more because there was a lot more of it. Like, I hated it because there was more of it. By the time I finished this game, I was grateful it was over. However, I did like the pirate setting. Didn't really like the whole way that like you would walk through the building and go to the desk and do all that. Like I don't know, man. Like I just, these were like so I'm not saying that I hated them. I'm just saying that these are my least favorite ones out of the series. And like the naval combat was a big part of why I didn't like them. There were definitely qualities from both AC3 and 4 that I did like, but I just did not like these experiences as much as like the rest of them. So the next one, I'm pretty sure you can guess which one that is. It's gonna be AC Rogue. AC Rogue is gonna finish out the bottom. AC Rogue is basically the same story as the last two games. The only reason it scored higher is because I got to play a Templar. And it had less naval combat. And Shay, he was actually pretty cool. I really liked that dude. I thought he had a good story. I thought it was a good character. I thought that his little, like the way his story panned out, it just made you still feel like a good guy, even though you were a bad guy. And I really liked how they did that. I really liked how they managed to portray his character as a good guy, yet he was still a bad guy. And then the end of that game was so freaking cool. Like I liked that. I liked that game. The end of that one, it was pretty good, but still, it's the time period that those three games are set in. You know, the pirates and the colonial America and stuff like that. Like I didn't really care for that setting that much because it feels too it feels too recent, and I'm more of like a medieval type fan. Like yeah, that's just the way it is for me on that. So my fourth least favorite game in the series is AC Syndicate. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things about AC Syndicate, but all right, let's just start with this. Okay, Jacob and Evie were actually pretty great. I mean, honestly, I really liked them. What I didn't like is that the game felt less Assassin's Creed and more GTA. I really didn't care for the gang wars. Like, seriously, I didn't care for the gang wars. And the new movement system and buildings were too far apart. I just didn't enjoy it that much. It kind of felt like a GTA / Batman, like swinging. Like I didn't like it. I did not like that. I thought it was just too far from what I was enjoying about the Assassin's Creed franchise, and the game previous to that one was just way better. I mean, there was like Jacob and Evie. They were pretty cool protagonists. In the wrong game, in the wrong setting. It just didn't. I wish they felt more assassin than thug. You know what I mean? Like, it just, to me, that would have been a much better experience. So we're gonna move on to the next one. Now this one here, Assassin's Creed, the first one. This one here is kind of a. It was kind of hard to put this one so low on the list, to be completely honest with you. It was really, really hard to put AC1 and at number 5. Like, it really was. It was 2007. I just picked up my second PlayStation 3 after doing a tile job for my friend. So I used that money to get a 40 gigabyte PS3, GT5 Prologue, Need for Speed Pro Street, and the first Assassin's Creed game. I quickly fell in love with this franchise. The medieval setting was amazing. And, it was the coolest game I'd ever seen. Parkour was exciting but broken, and mostly frustrating, but overall new and exciting. I was hooked and wanted more. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Like, I was hooked. I was hooked on this game. I loved the setting. I thought it was great. It was buggy. It was broken. I mean, it was a tough game to play and be good at when it first came out. But it now runs at 4K 60 frames a second with visual enhancements on Xbox Series X. It looks and feels better than it's ever looked and felt before, and it is much, much better to play now. I have went back, I have played some of this, and the game, the setting, it feels like it feels good. It does leave some to be desired, but overall, it still has that same charm that got me interested in the series to begin with, and I'm very appreciative of that. And I really do like it. I really do like that game, and that's why it was really hard for me. It started my love and fandom for the Assassin's Creed franchise, and yeah, it's just there. It's just there. So, all right, now we're gonna move on to number 6, Assassin's Creed 2. Yes, I know. Assassin's Creed 2 is where things really started to get interesting for me, though. The inclusion of historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci was so cool. Not only that, we were in a new historical time period. I was thrilled to get a new protagonist, Ezio, who quickly became my favorite assassin. The game felt a little better than before, and it looked better as well. Like, it looked better. There was more like being able to use the Leonardo's inventions to get around, to do things. Like, it grew on me a lot faster. It definitely changed my outlook on it. And then yeah, it was good. So my next the next game on the list, number 7, is Assassin's Creed Origins. And you're probably wondering, like, why would Assassin's Creed Origins be so that low on the on the list if it was because I like the bigger open world games. Like that's the newer bigger games are a lot better. But how did Origins get to be number 7? So I've spent the most time out of all of these games with Origin. I bought it on PlayStation 4. I played through the whole game on PlayStation 4 Pro, and then I bought it again on Xbox One X. Now I played through the whole game again and kept playing after that for a very long time. Like I've got over 200 hours into Assassin's Creed Origins as it is. So how can this game be not as good as any of the other ones? Well, it all falls down to all that useless freaking desert in this game. While the game world was beautiful and they literally nailed the way the environments look in it, like the desert landscape and everything else, they literally nailed all of that. It felt so empty in so much of that map. They could have I just feel like that area could have been much better utilized, and it was literally just sand dunes of nothing, sand dunes of literal nothing. And it just was, because I like to explore these games, and I mean, when you add in the Curse of the Pharaohs and all the DLC that came with the game, the hidden ones, was it the hidden ones or the hidden ones DLC, the where they formed the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and stuff in there, like it was. That part started to make the game a lot better, going to Thebes and everything like that. Like it was cool, like it was historic and it was great, and I do love it. But there's other games in the series that I love more than Origins, but I do love Origins. I think it is a perfect start. I think it was the perfect start for the refresh for the games. Now a lot of people are torn on the way the Assassin's Creed franchise is going. I like the open world aspect way more than what we had before, but I still like what we had before, and I wish that we had, I wish that we were still getting Assassin's Creed every year, and I wish that we were getting one open world one, and then a smaller, more condensed one, then another big open world one. I wish that Ubisoft was in a position to do that for us. So that's my feelings on Origins. Now, the next one in the list is going to be AC Brotherhood. Now, AC Brotherhood, the Rome setting was freaking cool. Like, I love Ezio Auditore. He's one of my... I like a few of these assassins, but we've all spent the most time with Ezio. I mean, he's got 3 freaking games with him in it, and like he was just one of the most iconic assassins in the franchise, and there's nothing that could take that away from him. And then that's right. I mean, that's why like 2 of his games are closer to the top of my list, because it's just it was a time that it's like, I mean, even though we were in Italy in the first game, and then we're in Rome in the second game, and then we're back to Constantinople and everything in the third game, I really loved the way that Brotherhood worked, being able to command assassins, stuff like that. That wasn't the greatest thing, but it was like they were trying, and they were trying to make things better, and I liked the Rome setting. I thought that was pretty cool, and yeah, like I don't know, the story was just pretty good. The way the character, the way Ezio's character just keeps growing and growing and getting better. It was cool. So the next one, AC Revelations. Now, AC Revelations is one of those games that at first I was like a little apoplectic about it. I was just like, I don't know, man. Like, we've already had like 2 games with Ezio in there. I kind of want to see a new protagonist. But then you start playing this game, and the visuals. This is when the visuals just started getting better for the series. It was like, wow, this looks great. The character model is much, much better now. The cutscenes are freaking phenomenal in this game. The way that this game was put together and brought back Altair and let you play as Altair through some of these, it was just like, wow, man. Like, this is pretty freaking cool. Like, I really did enjoy this game. I really did enjoy Assassin's Creed Revelations. Even though it was starting to get to a point at that point where it was like, oh boy, I don't know about this. Too many games with the same protagonist. It was starting to feel like it was gonna keep going in that way, and that they were starting to get a little stale with their ideas or whatever. But then we got the next game. And we all see where that went. like that one literally hit the bottom of my list. So, okay. After Revelations, AC Valhalla is in the number 10 spot. The only reason AC Valhalla is in the number 10 spot is because I like two other games more than that one. Like, I love Valhalla. I think it's amazing. These last three games, like, it was so hard to really pick and choose which one. It was tough. It was really hard for me, to be completely honest with you. So Valhalla, what do I like about Valhalla? Valhalla is freaking massive. There is so much in that game, and it's so big and it's so beautiful. It was like ushering in like the new generation of Assassin's Creed, and what it's like. I can't even believe that it's going to be better than what we just saw in Valhalla, and it already looks pretty good. Valhalla, I love that time period. I love the setting for Valhalla, with oh gosh, what was his name? The King Alfred. Okay, so like King Alfred was a pretty cool character in this game. Like, being able to have King Alfred in there, I really do hope that they do some more of the medieval, kings like King Richard or something in a future Assassin's Creed. That's probably my most anticipated setting, is the Crusades. I would really love for an Assassin's Creed to be set in the Crusade period. Maybe multiple, maybe even a trilogy in the Crusades. I would love to see. I would love to play something like that. I think it would be really cool, and it would really flush out the system for me. So AC Valhalla with the Vikings. I like the Viking settings. I think they pretty much nailed that for the most part. The character Eivor, the protagonist Eivor, is freaking cool. Like, I love Eivor. I think he's probably my second favorite assassin. Like, Eivor is probably my second favorite assassin out of all of them. Ezio Auditore is the first. Eivor would be the second, and then Arno Dorian from Assassin's Creed Unity would be my third favorite. And then, gosh dang it. Oh, now I'm having Alexios from Odyssey. So, all right. So, AC Valhalla is number 10. Number 11 is AC Unity. AC Unity was amazing. They had upgraded the parkour for this game. They had made it better going up, made it better going down. Yes, it was buggy at first, but now playing this game on Xbox Series X at 60 frames a second, it feels pretty great. Like, it feels butter smooth now. It feels more fluid. It's just so great. So, Assassin's Creed, but there's obviously when this game came out, it was a little busted, it was broken, it was whatever. But they intensified the visual fidelity of this game when it first came out. I was so amazed and blown away with just how good this game looked when it first came out. I was like, wow, this is incredible. The parkour was better. They made it so you could set up your missions and like go after your protagonist or your antagonist. Going after him, like kind of like in the first game, how they would set up this thing and then you go around and you look for a way, and it was, oh my gosh, it was just so cool. And it really did, and I really liked Unity. I really liked that they finally brought in, multiplayer so we could play together. I still get on there and play with people to this day, every once in a while. Get on there and we'll play some Assassin's Creed Unity, because I think it's so good, and I wish that they would. This is one that I really wish they would remake. Well, not remake, but like really like give it a full freaking makeover for next gen. Kind of like they did with AC3. I would really love to see this game completely reworked. Like the visuals upgraded and updated. I just think it would be so much better. And the Revolution, the French Revolution. Now, I really like that time setting because it's, I mean, like the American Revolution is one thing, but like the French Revolution, it was just like, man, this is like France has been there for a long time. There's a king, there's a monarchy, there's wealth, there's money, there's lots of inequality. There's so much going on in France in the late 1700s. You know, like King Louis the 16th, and everything is just like so freaking just it's crazy. Like it's just probably one of the best freaking probably one of the better settings that they could have came up with for an Assassin's Creed game, like right after the American Revolution. Like the American Revolution is one thing, but this was just better. There was none of that freaking naval combat. It was all boots on the ground. It was so good, running around Paris, France. Oh man, I still play this game to this day. I have it on PC as well, and I still play it. I love the way that this game feels, and I love the way that this game looks. It is number 11. So, obviously, there's only one left. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. How is Assassin's Creed Odyssey my favorite Assassin's Creed game if it has naval combat? Well, it's simple. I never really did the naval combat, and I've got almost as much time in Odyssey as I do Origins. Just playing through it on one console. So, Odyssey is freaking amazing. Like, I love this game. It from the moment it started with the Spartans, with, oh my gosh, like, it was just like, it was like, wow. I'm so glad they thought of this and like decided to go that far back to bring in like the Spartans. And to faithfully, like pretty faithfully, like recreate the map of like the Greek Isle. Like, that was so freaking cool to add every single one of those islands. And see, like, I didn't mind as much like getting on the boat and traveling to, some of these islands. Like that was fine with me. I didn't really engage in the naval combat. Like, I didn't care for it, but I did, use the ship. And with the world as open as it is, you can just go anywhere you want, like being on the ship and everything, and it was cool. Like, I liked that. Each island was big and it was beautiful. There was different biomes. It really looked great all the time. And the attention to detail that they put into the, like, Athens and Sparta and Crete and all these things, it really looked amazing. And it looks amazing now. And it plays at 60 frames a second. And I still get on this game to this day. And it's breathtaking sometimes, like I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, this game still looks so incredible. I don't know any other way, but I really loved it. The historical figures that are in this game, like Plato and oh wait, was it Plato or Aristotle? Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but all the characters that are in this game, like they lend to the story and they make it so much better. Like the mom and Cassandra, because I played as Alexio, so like Cassandra, I was able to complete this game and bring all my family together, even my stepdad, and then find my real dad, and then go on it felt like a freaking Odyssey. Like, I was so excited to play through this game. And then like I think that one's the one that has the Hidden Ones DLC. No, it's not the Hidden Ones DLC. It's the Darius story or whatever, like the Hidden Blade. The Hidden Blade. That's it. The Hidden Blade one. And that part of the story was like pretty cool, like, and seeing how that game tied to Origins, and man, I think they did a good job. I really liked Odyssey. I think Odyssey is great. It just won me, because of the time period, mainly because of the time period, and because it felt like an Odyssey. Like, I felt like this is great. And I still play it, and I still go back, and I still have fun with that game. And I'm like, I would say I'm about quarter of the way through Cassandra's story because I was trying to play through as both of them so that I could see how that turned out. And like just them doing like the add-ons for Valhalla and bringing Cassandra back, and having her meet Eivor and everything. It was really cool, and I really like that, and I look forward to more Assassin's Creed games in the future. I think that Assassin's Creed can and will be a part of my gaming life till it either stops getting made or I pass away. So I'll probably keep playing them. I have all of them. The only game that you didn't see gameplay was from Black Flag, and that's because it's on the PlayStation and I didn't feel like downloading it and recording it. So if you like this content, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I worked pretty good. I worked pretty hard on this video, so I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And if you have a different game that you think is the best, definitely hit me up in the chat and let's talk about it, because I like to talk to other Assassin's Creed fans, because I'll be honest, I don't really know many in real life. So if you like this content, hit me up, man. Let's talk about it, and I will see you in the next one.
Επικαλούμε σε μάχη. Που δεν μπορώ ποτέ αποδράσω εντέφε. Μεγαλώνει και πολιώνει με. Χθονία και θυροκτώνε, φιλαγορώτη και λυτηρία. Δρυμονίδης και
Πολυλίστη λυτήρα κακών, ιστρούς αγροτών ψυχάς, Σύθεα, δώσ' ειρήνη πολύολγων και κόρων υγείαν.